a sexual joke earlier, and I'm embarrassed that I made a sexual joke. Oops, it's the freezer, not the fridge. All right. Nope, that's gonna break. Okay. Oh my god, I can't wait to not have to do this anymore. Just a couple more hours, man. Just a couple more hours, girl. Alright, desserts in the Ziploc freezer. Okay. Y'all done? Good. Up. Go on, bud. Go up. You're not getting any of this. Oh, money, don't fucking near my food, man. Hello, hello. This is like the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. And they hooked it the frick up today. Gave me so much. Mm. Oh my god, so good. Mm-mm. Get out of there. No, sir. You can't have that, but I'll make you sick. Sorry, that's food. You can only have your food. So good. So fresh. Oh, so cheesy. Oh, it's like the best it's ever been. Mmm. They use this like reduction or something and they pour it on. It's like a sweet, something sweet. It's so good. It goes so good with macaroni and cheese. Mm-hmm. Trying to speed eat because I have to hurry up and get back to work. I'm burning daylight. And it's rainy, so it'll get dark faster. I'm so happy. I can't believe it. I'm moving back into my bus. No, I just got this fresh. No, I don't keep leftovers longer than 24 hours. Go on, get up. Go. Go, Orly. No, this is like fresh. So good. It's my favorite thing right now. You've been hopping on my shoulder an awful lot lately. I love you. It's all cheese. Oh, it's like toasty. It gets like that. You know, like when cheddar cheese gets like cheese-ited. Oh my god. It's the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had in my life. I gotta stop. I'm gonna have a stomachache. I gotta get back to work. Oh my god, that's so good. It's literally the best flavor ever. Oh, and I got some greens. Always gotta have your greens. I wish I actually lived by that. You know how Indian food is always served on metal trays? I'm gonna get some of those. In the copper cups. Dude, they hooked it up this time, dude. This is the best it's ever been. This is just wild. Like, I've had it where there's only, like, maybe a quarter of the noodles. And, like, no sauce, hardly. It's, like, a little dry already from Jump Street. This reduction that they have is... It comes off a lot to me like, maple syrup or something. Right? Francesca, it looks so good. All right, I need to bring the respirator because I've really fucked up by leaving it in here all day. Anybody else want to? No. Everybody went potty when I got home. When I came inside before I left the store. Pardon me. Gotta get that out of my nose. Out of my sinuses. I like had a booger and I picked my nose and it was like just like black, like the stuff I've been cleaning off of everything in here. And I do know that like a great majority of that is soot from last winter, but still. All right, so you ready for the reveal? Oh my gosh, is that a mark from wearing the thing earlier? How did I scratch myself in the face? I don't even remember how that happened. I look like a badass with a scar. All right. So we got our dresser in. I got my thing reorganized. All of my leather and sewing stuff is in here. I got the bed obviously built. And then I'm starting to put stuff down in there. I'm gonna have, oh shit, I left the back door open. My mattress! God damn it, Heather. Girl, you special. Anyway, run the dehumidifier. It will be fine. So anyway, I still have to organize all of the books, and that's not all the books. I still have a bunch of books over in the shed still that are like stacked up here. Oh, and then I have all those books. There are 2 rows of those there. So I gotta get that other shelf over here ASAP. So I think I'm gonna put that chair here. I think I'm gonna put the chair there actually. No, I'm gonna put it here. I'll put it here so then Elliot will have his own bed, and I'll just put it here and then it can pull out to here and he will have totally his own bed. That will be perfect. We're not gonna need the wood stove, so there's no need for that. So like we're there, dude. Like we're so close. I just have to get that other shelf, the other wood shelf that's small like this bookshelf. And I have to wipe down the stuff that's in this bin here. I have to wipe down the stuff in this bin here. And I have to go through that box there. But so I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to start moving this stuff away from the wall so I can get back there and get to my chairs, my stools and stuff and try to move those around. I know it's happening. So excited. It's been how long, girl? How long has it been? Seriously, like 9 months? This has been a work in progress for how many years, though? Like, how long? 3? 2? Definitely 2 full years of me asking and stating exactly what I needed out there and being like, I can't do this anymore. I should have gone pee before I came in here, but whatever. This is my United States of whatever. And I realized, like, going through my stuff, I was like, dude, Heather, you couldn't even appreciate all the cool stuff you had because you were just so, like, in a miserable place. But now, like, going through everything and, like, seeing how much, like, I have some cool stuff. I have a stomach ache because I ate too much. Not too fast, but too much.
The United States government. They were able to get a bigger sphere of influence when we took down Saddam, allowed, of course, Iran to build up more power and influence in that region. When we look at their specific leadership, they all came into play after the United States had a coup d'etat inside of Iran. If you look at what the United States just recently did,
I gotta go pee.
Syria,
I can't hold it.
Libya, what they did in Iraq, what they did in Afghanistan, and it is essentially seeing a beehive and just hitting it. It's like, oh, the bees came out. They're great. Oh, who would have thought? Oh, the bees that marry each other's cousins are all coming out. They're all angry. Oh, my goodness. As again, Iran has announced that they actually will be seeking nuclear weapons, especially if the United States attacks them, as they see no other choice for them to retaliate in a way during these negotiations that has the United States threatening Iran, Iran threatening the United States, as Iran is talking about how they will be striking the U.S. bases all around the Middle East if they are attacked here, as this situation could rapidly unfold to a very big destabilized conflict that would involve other countries like China and Russia. And we have seen the United States, along with Israel, go after a lot of the proxies of Iran here, as Iran has officially rejected direct negotiations with the United States in response to a Donald Trump letter where he talked about bombing them. As we're seeing the breakdown of communications, people said if this happens, there's going to be war, and now people are preparing for war. Now, there's a lot of backlash here, specifically around a lot of Donald Trump supporters, the few that aren't afraid to actually be honest. There's a lot of them that are just like, shut up. We're not talking about that. I think this is worth talking about, especially if this plan gets carried out, if it moves forward, as Donald Trump ran on being a non-interventionist. Donald Trump ran about saying, you know, I don't know why they're bombing Yemen. It's none of our business. And then he continued to bomb Yemen, opening up trade routes predominantly for the Chinese. Anyway, before getting into that, we want to tell you about the bestpoliticalshirts.com, because we're probably going to get some people mad at us. We're probably going to get some people that are going to try to cancel us, and whatever, it happens. That's the name of the game. We've been canceled multiple amount of times. We've been demonetized multiple amount of times. The first time we did it, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to rely on YouTube. I'm going to create my own revenue source, and that's when I did thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and I created one of the best shirt companies out there that truly encompasses a lot of political discontent here, as we have the shirt that I'm wearing right now saying I tested positive for freedom, also available on wearechange.shop. A lot of anti-war t-shirts, and soon to be probably a lot more if this folly, if this mistake continues. Since again, every time the United States government goes into the Middle East, it's a huge mistake. Right? It costs American lives. It costs
Doesn't
American
it look so
reputation.
different?
There's terrorism that we have to deal with. There's jihadism that we have to deal with. And we somehow have never learned our lesson. Get out of here. Now, I'll give you the other side of the story before I'm done telling you about the bestpoliticalshirts.com. As of course, this is the perfect way to meet.
The one thing it could
To
do
potentially
well.
meet your future romantic partner and start up some very interesting conversations. I love wearing these shirts out there to the general public. I've recently also gotten into like wearing suits. I like wearing suits, and I have to sit there and I'm like, do I want to spread a nice political message and trigger some crazy people and to meet some nice people? Or do I want to just sometimes I just go for the black t-shirt, and it's just easier for me. We have long sleeves, we have short sleeves, we have women's shirts. You just got to look for it. A little complicated. We apologize for it, but we do the best that we can here on the bestpoliticalshirts.com. So check them out. Start the conversation. Do your own lazy form of activism here. Now, I want to talk about both sides of this issue here, because if Trump does this, this will be the biggest mistake, I think, of his career. When he was, just the first time around, he was less aggressive. He just launched the biggest military campaign of his entire presidency ever against Yemen. And we're asking, why are we attacking Yemen? To open up trade routes for China? Okay. It really kind of makes sense here, especially when there's, thousands of Christians being slaughtered and genocided, in Syria. If there's ever a time for intervention, it's to save the thousands of Christians that are being purged by radical Islamists. That makes sense. I can understand, even though I'm not a fan of interventionism, but I can understand. Hey, that's an argument. Hey, we got to make sure people are protected, lives aren't lost here. The Yemen stuff is predominantly to protect Israel. Let's just be honest here. This Iran stuff predominantly to protect Israel here, because it should be none of our business, like Donald Trump said before. Now, what is Donald Trump doing here? Is he kind of currying favors? Is he going to try to do a bigger peace deal here? Is he just threatening the stick, but soon will offer
All
a
the
carrot?
Trump people are getting their
Hopefully this is just the art of
backs
the deal.
blown out
Hopefully this
right
is
now.
just tough negotiations. Hopefully this is just a bluff. And hopefully there will be some peace deal, some economic deal that allows the energy resources to be released on the world. Otherwise, we're that much closer to World War III, the death of U.S. soldiers, attacks on the domestic homeland, which all could be avoided if we don't get involved. Now, I said hope a lot. I don't really like hope. If the last couple of years of our political cycle has shown us that, the hope thing doesn't really work out for the people that
hope
are
is dope.
hopeful. Now, again, lots of issues to get involved here. Lots of people getting hurt here. And if we are going to be the police of the world here, we should be a police that is fair. A police that tries to, of course, if we're getting visions, and I hate this idea, and I don't like this idea, and it's something that I have been always against. I mean, I got my start protesting the Iraq War. The Iraq War, that Donald Trump called a huge mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was a deliberate mistake. I think it was a deliberate event meant to take people's lives, destroy them, fill up the coffers of the military industrial complex, set up the next kind of terrorist group that could have only existed if there was a vacuum of power like there was in Iraq. Now, what is going to be achieved by bombing Iran? Well, Lindsey Graham's going to be really happy. He just got endorsed by Donald Trump. He's going to be, yeah, all right. Okay. Other than him and John Bolton, whacking off to this news, What else are we getting from this? Why are we even a step closer towards doing this? It just logically, geopolitically makes no sense in favor of the United States at all here. And the people who are for it, why do we have to do this for America? Why do we have to excuse this? We do not. As, of course, this conflict soon will involve Russia. Russia has a lot of strategic military ties to the Iranians. So do the Chinese. The Russians and Chinese look like they are going to be coming closer together. And then Russia is warning of catastrophic consequences if Trump carries out the threat to bomb Iran. This, of course, would also derail peace talks and negotiations with Ukraine, and therefore propel us towards what people call a new global nuclear arms race, which would be just an incredible waste of money, time, and talent of the human race that could be spent releasing energy resources, trading, expanding, growing, and exploring the seas or the stars, and being able to actually try to learn and achieve and create some positive juju rather than sacrificing more human beings at the altar of what evil demonic forces. Probably that's it. Yeah, that explains it. As this will be the biggest test of his administration, and I hope he passes. If he doesn't, I of course will be criticizing it very slowly, because it deserves to be criticized too. A lot of people are just loyalists. A lot of people are just like, no, he can't do any wrong. I think he is. We'll see how this plays out. Listen. It could be wrong. It could be the art of the deal. But listen, hold on here. I could be wrong here. And if I am, I will eat my own words. I will say, I apologize, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. But it doesn't look like it. Especially with his biggest military campaign ever in Yemen. When he was president first time around, he was very like, he was not trying to bomb places. He was not trying to attack places. The CIA came to him and said, we're going to overthrow the government of Syria. Trump said, no, you're not. We're going to go after those actual radical jihadis. And he actually did that. Which wasn't as bad. He did bomb Syria once, but it was more of a wag the dog moment where they literally called up Syria and be like, hey, just, we're going to bomb this air base. Just let move your troops over. So they bombed the air base, and then it was just like rocket blasts in the tarmac. Like, oh, yeah. And then the corporate media was like, yes. The corporate media loved him. John Bolton loved him. All these neocons loved him. He bombed Syria for the chemical weapons gas attack that even UN weapons inspectors and other researchers and scientists say was a false flag operation that couldn't have been done anyway. That was explained to us that was actually done here. Who was actually creating that side out there? Who was actually pushing for that? Makes you really wonder. Here, as war in the Middle East has never been good for the American public. We know that. Every step of the way here, it creates more chaos, more division. Why are we getting involved here? And again, a lot of this is just idiotic. It's just absolutely idiotic, and it gives credence to a lot of people who are saying our government has been hijacked by forces in the Middle East that are telling us what to do here, because otherwise, how else do you explain it? How else do you explain it? And I hate saying it that way, because I know there's just so much animosity. I know there's so much building up to this. I know there's so much disinformation. I know there's also a divide and conquer agenda surrounding all of this, and I don't want to play into any of this kind of divisiveness, any of this kind of hatred here. But again, what we're seeing here is something that will be negatively impacting Trump's legacy, Trump's presidency, and if it does continue, and if it does go on, people will question whose country Donald Trump is serving. Who is he actually looking out for? Now, the peace deal in Ukraine, not looking too good right now. You add that to now a bigger conflict potentially going off in the Middle East, and you have a lot of the rhetoric, a lot of the promises broken by Donald Trump. Now, if Donald Trump is able to negotiate tough here, let's just say this is the art of the deal. Negotiate tough here, prevent the bombings, prevent the war here, create a peace deal in the Middle East, create a peace deal inside of Ukraine, actually be able to bring people together, release the energy resources on the world, be actually able to bring peace to the world, then he becomes the greatest president in the history of the United States, I would say. One of the best, if not the best, ever. But if he goes the other way, I think he's going to be one of the biggest letdowns. Where do you think he's going to be going? Let me know down in the comment section below here, because there's a lot at stake here. And this is the road that goes off into two ways. And again, I wouldn't be saying this if I wasn't seeing what just happened over in Yemen. All right? Let's just be real with ourselves. And a lot of right-wing influencers are like, my trade routes. Not looking at these guys being the most drug-addled, low IQ, like poorest people on the face of this earth that are proxies for Iran here. So the steps that Trump has been making going against the proxies in Iran, Hezbollah is already absolutely obliterated and destroyed. So are, of course, the Houthis that are being obliterated by the United States, and now the last final country that of course is there, that there always has been a bigger goal to take out, is of course Iran, that financed those proxies. Syria, gone too. All the proxies in Syria, gone. All the proxies in Lebanon, gone. The proxies in Yemen getting bombed. Now, the next final last move is of course Iran here. It's all being played out in what I think is a lot more organized than a lot of people think it is. That's the future that we're seeing here, and that's not a good one. Stay tuned for more. Get a shirt. Support this independent media broadcast. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. They're cheap shirts, too. They're not even that expensive. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, it really feels like we're living in the era of exposure. It's bombshell report after bombshell report. You know, basically for decades, the US government was allowed to operate in the shadows, no real transparency or oversight, and it was just kind of the accepted state. It just was how it was. But then Donald Trump and Elon Musk came on the stage, and now it's a completely different environment. They've essentially pulled the curtain. These federal institutions that were once untouchable are now essentially being stripped naked and exposed for what they really are. And what we're uncovering thanks to Elon Musk, well, it's truly staggering. And yep, you pretty much get exactly where I'm going with this. Elon Musk has uncovered, yet again, another massive bombshell. It seems the corrupt regime is panicking, and they attempted to delete a whole lot of files, hoping, I guess, that Elon Musk wouldn't get his hands on them. But unfortunately for them, I guess they didn't use the same bleach bit that Hillary Clinton used. And now, according to Elon Musk, they've recovered the files. It continues to be a very interesting and exciting news cycle. Let me update you guys on this latest potential bombshell. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this could possibly be quite huge. Take a look at what popped up on my timeline. We got a tweet here from Autism Capital, who writes, New. Elon Musk says the United States Institute of Peace deleted a terabyte of financial data linking them to funding the Taliban and Iraqi leaders, but he and the Doge team were able to recover the data due to the agency's ineptitude with technology. Then Elon Musk responded and seems to confirm the story by simply replying, yup. So according to new findings from the Department of Government Efficiency, USIP made a $132,000 payment to a former Taliban official. Just take a moment to let that sink in. Your tax dollars hard at work paying terrorist leaders. And that right there is just the beginning. We're also seeing reports of a $1.3 million payment to an Iraqi youth organization that smells a whole lot like a shell operation. $2.23 million moved to foreign accounts, and another $675,000 blown on, quote, private aviation. And the biggest red flag here, USIP allegedly tried to delete over a terabyte of financial data to cover those payments up. But like I said in the intro, apparently they're not tech savvy enough to know that when you delete something off a hard drive, it doesn't really get rid of it entirely. There's little kind of encrypted remnants of the file that still exist and can in fact be recovered. And so that's exactly what Elon Musk's team did. Doge recovered the data, and now we have our hands on more evidence of taxpayer dollars being funneled into very shady foreign entities, some of which, in this case, are directly tied to terrorism. And this is very similar to the whistleblower account that we covered roughly a month ago during a US aid hearing, where a whistleblower testified under oath that federal agencies were funding terrorist-linked organizations, and that they had passed regulation that essentially allowed them to do that without oversight or accountability.
Mr. Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Yes, sir.
Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted Al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataiba Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations
Sounds
have
like
received
you're
indirect
Jewish, sir.
assistance from U.S. foreign aid. Let's use Gaza as our case study. $2.1 billion in American taxpayers' money to Gaza since October 7th when Hamas invaded southern Israel. USAID money was going in terms of emergency use authorization to try to go to parties that USAID formerly had a relationship with in the Gaza Strip. They had to have been vetted by OFAC. They should have been vetted against the special designated terror list from the State Department and from other Treasury organizations. Waivers were granted because they said that there was an emergency use to have that money come in to Gaza, thereby jettisoning the usual typical screening procedures. As a result, 90% of aid that was going from the United States by way of its agents in Gaza ended up in Hamas-controlled areas. Well, here we go again. More taxpayer dollars being funneled by these bureaucrats straight to the terrorist organizations that we're supposedly fighting. It's unfreaking believable. And look, I know that there could possibly be an explanation. There could be some sort of peacekeeping effort. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do in order to achieve specific results. You know, just think about hostage payments, for instance. But a big red flag that pops up in this case particularly is the fact that they panicked and scurried to delete all of this financial data. You know, if there's a legitimate reason as to why they were sending this money to these shady foreign organizations and individuals, then why delete it? If the payments were justified, then, I don't know, simply justify them. But instead, this is what we get. The Hillary Clinton approach. Delete it quick. And people wonder why we support the work that Elon Musk is doing. Well, very simply because it seems as though he's onto something. And we appreciate the transparency. I mean, what's the alternative approach? Simply buy into the brain rot narrative that Elon Musk is the enemy of the people and we shouldn't ask any questions? Just allow these unelected bureaucrats to continue acting with absolutely no accountability, transparency, or oversight. And don't ask any questions on how your taxpayer dollars are spent because that's somehow akin to fascism? Give me a freaking break. Something is going on here. Clearly, they're trying to hide something. There's a cover-up, not only in the fact that they are seemingly
Alright, come on,
deleting
Mike, watch
files,
out.
but also in their slanderous attacks against
Watch out,
Elon.
bro.
They're
Watch out.
clearly trying to stop him from getting his hands on all this information. And that's concerning to say the least. They want you to believe that what apparently there was a whistleblower at the time that tried to tell Twitter staff that it was real, but he got shut down. Quote, admonished. He was told to stay quiet. In other words, more proof that the FBI attempted to rig the 2020 election as they coordinated with big tech to silence the story of the decade under the premise that it could have been hacked information or a Russian operation, even though they knew that the laptop was real. Folks, this is exactly why transparency is important. This is exactly why Doge matters. This is why Donald Trump brought silencing Americans at home, from the IRS to the FBI, from USAID to USIP, these institutions have been totally compromised. They're not just bloated.
I'm Aaron Mate, sitting in for Jimmy Dore, and my guest is Janine Muniz. She is a civil rights attorney, and we're talking about the Trump administration's crackdown on free speech when it comes to Palestine. Well, where is this crackdown coming from? Who is inspiring it? Well, here is Max Blumenthal with his take. Unlike Gentile Nazis and ISIS fanatics, violent Zionist extremist groups currently function as an appendage of the U.S. security state, inciting the death of activists who standards of violent extremists in the U.S. reside way outside. We're talking about groups like Antifa, who continue to provide the list for the Trump administration to report. This man has been Washington Post. The militant Zionist group adjusted its online list and was stating this is they have recognized foreign policy that Marco Rubio says is being interfered with was Joe Biden's, because that's when that op-ed, for example, by the Turkish student who's now being deported was published, was back when Joe Biden was the president. And remember, Trump campaigned as the president of peace, right? He was going to end the conflict in the Middle East. So it is actually kind of funny that Marco Rubio is mad that these students were interfering with Joe Biden's policy, not even Trump's. But let's move on.
I know, I certainly did on this show. So what's really going on here? Sick stuff. Biden responded, oppose my ideas all you want, but when you urge people in my neighborhood to give me a pager in the wake of Israel's pager attacks in Lebanon, that sounds like a death threat. This is the militant group that took credit for Mahmoud Khalil's abduction and claims it has sent thousands more names to Trump officials. This is the kind of group aiding the Trump administration in what Massachusetts Congressman Stephen Lynch and New York Congressman Dan Goldman both compared to Gestapo-like conduct, referring to the Nazi secret police. But these Gestapo tactics aren't happening in a foreign country, not in a bygone era. They are happening right here in the United States today. And the Trump administration is promising more to come unless we do something about it.
Well, you know the Trump administration is doing something bad when even the Jimmy Dore show has to play a clip from MSNBC favorably that we agree with. That's a rare occurrence. So, Janine, talk to us about these groups like Beitar who are openly broadcasting the fact that they have lists of people that they want deported. Who are they, and how influential do you think they are inside the White House?
It's unclear, although my intuition tells me they seem to have a fair amount of influence because the people that they single out continually get in trouble with the Trump administration, or at least the non-citizens that they've targeted have been some of the first to be put into deportation proceedings. I know the most about Beitar because I've had my own run-ins with them on Twitter. I had criticized them for saying that they were going to go to Hind Rajab's vigil, the 6-year-old girl who was shot to death probably about 300 times, or, the 300 bullets by the IDF. They said they were going to go to her vigil to find terrorists to send a list of to have Trump deport them. And I criticized them, and then they said something about handing me a pager, and another woman named Nardine Kaswani, and I said this, I'm a free speech lawyer, what you guys are doing is crossing the line, these are direct threats. And they actually said that they were offering people $1,800 to hand Nardine Kaswani a pager, which is solicitation to commit murder. They might have been joking, but if you say that kind of thing, there are people who might act upon it thinking that they're going to get $1,800, and this crosses the line into criminal speech. You can't conspire with someone to commit a crime and then fall back on a free speech defense. I think that's pretty obvious to most people. So they're actually calling me right now. So they started calling me and leaving obscene messages and saying they were going to hand me a pager and that kind of thing. So I suspect they have a fair amount of influence. They may have some direct connection to the White House. I obviously can't say. Canary Mission has, to my knowledge, been active in the United States for longer. I remember being a little bit nervous about them when I was in college, since I was in Students for Justice in Palestine, and they were compiling lists of pro-Palestine students to try to ruin their careers. So it's clear that they have some in with the White House. I guess clear is a strong word. It looks to me as though they do, just given the fact that some of the people they have had their sights set on have been the ones who have been targeted for deportation.
To be clear, I believe DHS has denied working with Beitar, but we don't know if there's some other group involved or some workaround around that. Certainly, people who Beitar has called for being deported have ended up being deported. Now, you mentioned that Beitar has been calling you personally?
Yeah, they found my number, which was apparently a little bit too easy to find. So they call me kind of incessantly sometimes.
Like how often?
They called me 30 times in one day once. I don't have concrete evidence. It's them. It's a no caller ID comes up, and they leave obscene messages telling me to go back to my Islamic shithole. Sorry if I'm not supposed to swear, which is funny because I was raised in the United States. But but I suspect because that started the same day that I was criticizing them on social media, and then they started tweeting that I should be handed a pager too. So I have a strong suspicion it's them or someone who's closely affiliated with them.
And there's so many examples now of academic institutions caving to pressure from the Trump administration to toe the pro-Israel line. Here's one new example. It comes via Kylie Chung. NYU canceled a speech by the former president of Doctors Without Borders because she was going to discuss the genocide in Gaza. A slide about the death toll in Gaza, quote, could be perceived as anti-Semitic. And there she is, canceling a presentation from a doctor on Israel's mass murder campaign in Gaza. And here's some detail. A couple of the slides in her presentation touched on the casualties in Gaza during the Israel-Hamas genocide, as well as the cuts at the USAID. Lou said she was told the slides about Gaza could be perceived as anti-Semitic, while the USAID section might be perceived as anti-governmental. So, again, this was from the administration that was elected in part on campaigning for free speech. Lou, who was already in New York when she got the call, offered to make edits to those slides. Hours later, after some deliberation, she said the university apologized and said they had to cancel. Now, you mentioned the activist Nardine Kaswani. Is she a client of yours? And no. What has happened to her?
So I don't know. All I know is Beitar was going after after her and threatening her on Twitter, and offering people $1,800 if they hand her a pager, which is obviously a very thinly veiled allusion to the pagers in Lebanon. So it's a death threat and a solicitation of murder, in my opinion. And even if they're joking, which is what they claim, other people could act on that. And that's, this is why we draw the line at threats, incitement to violence, and solicitation of murder. That's not protected speech. You cannot use your speech to try to get another person killed directly. Now, in what a lot of people try to do, and this was what the Biden administration did during COVID, and it's a little bit what the Trump administration is doing now, is try to stretch those definitions to say, basically, if you criticize Israel, that might increase hostility towards Jewish people, and that might lead to violence. Well, that's ridiculous. That's not what these exceptions to the First Amendment were meant for. They were meant for these sort of direct things where you're singling a person out, where you are suggesting an incentive to go kill or harm them. And I think that's a very common sense exception to the First Amendment that I am behind, although I think there should only be a few very, very narrow exceptions to free speech. Another thing I think that's worth pointing out about what you were just talking about is the funding of universities is another way that the administration is trying to get at silencing pro-Palestine viewpoints. So what they're clearly doing is they're using every means at their disposal, and they're using the lowest hanging fruit now. So that's non-citizens. They're trying to go after people, who they're claiming have fewer constitutional rights. That's not true, but that's sort of the argument. And then they're trying to use funding in order to get at speech. And again, Supreme Court has a robust body of case law saying that once the government offers funding, it cannot condition that funding on the silencing of certain viewpoints. So the government cannot say that it's going to withdraw funding from a university if it suppresses pro-Palestine speech. Of course, what they're doing is saying it's anti-Semitism and blah, 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 but it's clear that this is about pro-Palestine speech. So I think what they're doing is they're testing the waters. And then next, they're going to try to use some kind of national security or anti-terrorism laws to come at pro-Palestine Americans.
Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, and Toronto. Go to jimmydore.com for the cheapest tickets.
Just when you thought T levels couldn't get any lower, well, here we are.
Fishing line, soft cloth, it was never there.
Each T removed off a Tesla feels like a silent protest for Jordan Schwartz.
Why not just tattoo worse on your head? As of course that could be just as effective as the corporate media is now cheerleading an alleged major loss to Elon Musk, especially with what just happened in Wisconsin. We'll get into that, especially with what happened in Florida, which is also a little strange. But before doing that, it's pretty clear. Our politics is up for sale, and the slogan that the Democrats and the liberals have in their victory is absolutely duplicitous, and it's going to be the next target of Elon Musk that's going to be looking into some very sinister, powerful, rich forces out there that are financing the coffers of the machine in dark, secretive circles that now, I think, might be finally exposed. Now, let's just get right into it, as a lot of people on the right are pretty disappointed with what just happened yesterday, as we had special elections in Wisconsin and in Florida, as people were voting for all sorts of issues. Even though Wisconsin did vote to require voter ID by a whopping 20% margin, they did lose the big race that a lot of powerful people were involved in. Elon Musk was supporting the Republican candidate, the Soroses, the Pinskers, and other big, huge Democratic Party machines were supporting the left-wing Supreme Court judge of Wisconsin. Why does this matter? Well, they are also going to be determining the congressional. everything up. And then when the politician acts on their behests, a lot of people don't connect the dots because they don't really see the dark money and all these NGOs and all these organizations that I cut out a lot of the poison. I cut out a lot of the insanity from my life, and I feel great. And I started to source good stuff, and some of the stuff that I started to source, I was like, hey, there's not a lot of it. It's very difficult to get tea that's legit. That doesn't have microplastics in it, especially with the linings of it, especially with how it's made, especially with how it's flavored. This stuff, some of the best stuff out here, we got lemon ginger and we got white peach. I really like the white peach. The white peach tastes really damn good. Lemon ginger, really good for your health. I like brewing this in a way where, of course, you don't have those tea bags that leach those chemicals into you. And these are organic tea leaves, not from, of course, factory farm glyphosate-filled nonsense out there. I really like my teas. The logo is this very happy set of male reproductive organs, and the tagline says "Sip happens." As of course, I started this company with Jeremy from the Quartering after he found out about my major tax issues and the IRS going after me and trying to destroy my life. And I said, I don't want to. I want to do something. I want to work. I want to provide a good service out there. He's like, yo, we could do this quick. We can do this long way. I was like, let's do it the long way. Let's make sure we do a good product.
Yeah, right.
And I like this product. I think you will too. Sip Happens Organic White Peach Tea. I love this stuff. And then we have a lemon ginger one. You can make a huge pitcher of iced tea, put it in your fridge, and then flavor it with potentially honey or maple syrup, depending on what you personally like. But this is some of the best tea out there. You can feel it. I like it. I think you will too. Now, let's get into Elon Musk. And also just announced this during this Wisconsin town hall that he held, specifically addressing a major action, which I think he's going to double down on now.
Let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I just can't, I'm trying to connect the dots of how do they become rich? Well, earning, I think at 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year. It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening.
Yep, and then when that happens, a lot of the coffers from the NGOs, the non-government organizations, all the money from the billionaire class, all of that, it's going to, of course, dry up here. As when we look at Congress, holy frickin' cow! How did these people get so rich? Are they just so lucky that they keep making all the right stock trades at the right perfect time to have the biggest portfolio goals and gains? How do they know? Oh yeah, they get information before anybody else does. That's classified. And then, of course, we have the kingpin of them all. There's Republicans that are also extremely corrupt. There's also a lot of Democrats. But let's be fair here, especially with the amount of money spent on the last election cycle, where the Democrats spent a lot more money than the Republicans. Look at what just happened in the Wisconsin. So much money spent specifically for the Democratic political cause over outspending the Republicans here. Well, it's fair to argue here the Democratic liberal class far more corrupted than the Republican class just by sheer amounts of money itself. Big money in politics is something that the liberals and the leftists are like, oh no, we can't have big money in politics. Except for it's our guys. and then they shut up about it. But this whole system is rotten and corrupted. And the biggest kind of examples of this corruption is Nancy Pelosi. She entered Congress in 1987. She rose through the ranks, Speaker of the House many times throughout her career. And then, of course, was able.
This
to
is only
have a
half the
net worth,
house. I still have
according
that whole house
some
to do
estimates,
too.
almost as big as $300 million. At least she's worth $50.9 million. But other estimates, $300 million frickin' dollars. Okay? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of policy. That's a lot of insider trading. That's a lot of information, as a lot of people are looking at her husband. And they're saying, oh, he also makes a lot of profits in the stock with his transactions. That's just interesting there, as of course Nancy Pelosi very bravely stands up against stock trading bans for members of Congress. Interesting why she believes in that particular political opinion. But now with Deutsche, though, now with Elon Musk, he has the ability to look at the receipts. He has the ability to see where our money is going through. Already, with 1% of the budget with USAID, we found out, holy cow, we're giving Stacey Abrams' organizations how much money? How many billions of dollars? Wait, hold on. This is how they get rich. They get rich because they utilize the system that they're a part of for their own sheer benefit profit. And when they become rich, when they get all the money, it's usually our money. It's usually our tax dollars. It's usually indebting this country. It's usually creating a huge worse off financial situation for everyone here. Now, if I'm Elon Musk here and I'm the team of Deutsche, this is what I do. This is my game plan here. You go to all the members of Congress and be like, listen, we're going to launch this investigation. We're going to look under every little piece of information that we get here. We're going to look at every little receipt here. And we have the receipts now. We know where the money, we have the money printing machines. There's 12 of them, Elon Musk specifically talked about. There's 12 money printing machines. The machines just create money out of nowhere. People don't know how this is going on. There might be more of them, but we discovered 12 of them, okay? That's crazy in the first place, okay? Now they have the receipts of where the money's going to. You go to Congress and you say, listen. We'll give you guys, let's just say a week. If you want to be really nice, give them 2 weeks. And we're going to allow you to come forward and tell us how you are corrupt. And then we'll give you leniency. We'll go easy on you. We'll give you a slap on the wrist. We'll give you maybe a white-collar prison, maybe a little ban here. Maybe you have to repay some of the money. But it'll be little snap. Love it. You don't come forward. We investigate. We found out you're stealing. You're taking money that's not yours. You're being bought off to support this political
Back
cause.
over there for a little while.
Rikers Island right now. And then you don't do it just against the Democrats, but the Democrats would be overwhelmingly effective. You do it against everybody. Democrats, Republicans. That's how you would do it. You say, hey guys, meet in the middle. Give them a month. Hey guys, we got a month here. You're caught on the take for a special interest group. You're caught here in finance. You're caught here being corrupt. You're caught here rigging the system. And of course, the American taxpayer, the person in.
Oh my God, it smells so good in here.
They don't have this insider trading and this insider information that lets them
new
break the system.
cut wood
There's winners
instead
and
of
losers. And when they
rat
break the system,
piss.
so they're always winners, they create more losers, and those losers are us. And they do that in multiple facets, in multiple ways. Now, with this investigation, you need that type of threat to bring hands. We're going to find out. If you come forward, it'll be a lot easier. You need that done here in a kind of earnest, respectable way here. As, of course, Elon Musk now tracking hundreds of billions of dollars to back the Democratic political party, to back their liberal causes here. I think we're still on the precipice of unraveling something huge, something big here, as Elon Musk has already cut off a huge amount of money towards the Democratic liberal woke party machine. They were taking the money and they were making the world more gayer. The world's already gay. We don't need to make it more gay. Why are we making the world gay? Why? Hey, I'd rather have more money money for Publix groceries over here.
Almost a house.
Then,
On this
spend all the
side.
money I'm making in the world again.
On
Okay.
this side, however,
I'm okay. I'm okay.
it's still a
Bro,
total, absolute fucking shit
frickin'
show.
dude. I don't want that. Stop it. Elon Musk has. Now, he might be unraveling the whole Democratic Party machine, the corruption within it, which I hope he does, because this is how you make sure that the people's voices are actually represented, and we don't live under this corporate takeover of our ruling governmental system. Will it be done? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Share this video. I got like 5 more videos to make for you guys today. Stay tuned for more. Get the tea. We are changed.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more.
I know.
Shapiro used to work for a guy called John Brennan. He was the director of the CIA. And so I thought, okay, I'll call up John Brennan and ask him about Nick Shapiro. If anyone knows what Nick Shapiro can do and who he is, it would be him.
Hi and welcome to Close and Talk. I'm Ashley Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. Today I have a very special guest with me who's also a journalist. He's worked in traditional media for over 20 years and now he started his own thing. It's called breakermedia.com, where he writes articles and have newsletters, and they also have a podcast here on YouTube. I will leave links below so you can find him there. Ravi has been reporting on serious stuff before for Gawker, New York Times. He works for Vice on HBO, and he's even been a mentor at Columbia Journalism School. What made me interested in talking to him was that he did a deep dive into Nick Shapiro and what he calls scandal PR. He wanted to find out what Nick Shapiro can actually do. He calls him the Kaiser Soze of the internet. Remember Kevin Spacey and The Usual Suspects? Because he tried to find out things about him to see how difficult it was if Nick Shapiro actually exists out there. So he's going to tell you everything that he found out. Here is Ravi. Hi, Ravi from Breaker. You kind of just started this this newsletter podcast.
Weddings are supposed to be one of the happiest times in your life. You're surrounded by family members and you're marrying your true love. But what if your wedding led to an obsessive stalker, a mysterious thief, years of legal battles involving your closest friends, and eventually a tragic end? Oh, and it was all documented for the entire world to see. This is the story of Shannon Rose's wedding.
So weird, I'm like engaged now. And I get to start planning a wedding. My friend this year is Amber and Sarah. Some of me thinks that I did something that I didn't do, and I have no idea. I don't even know what it is. I don't know anyone that would do something like that to somebody. This hate is coming because Shannon Rose lied about me. She's destroying my soul.
Okay, so this is Shannon Rose. She's a YouTuber who started her channel back in 2013. And the content she makes, she's kind of like the embodiment of early YouTube when no one really had any planning with what they uploaded. One of her videos, she's making ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles!
There wasn't much planning back then. She's also done vlogs, tutorials, makeup routines. Literally every category you can think of, Shannon Rose is probably done. But she got a lot of her following during the storytime era, or as I like to call it, the pathological lying era. Because all these girlies, they were all lying. You didn't hook up with your Uber driver. Tana, that toothbrush did not go inside you.
He fucks me with a toothbrush.
Now, the story we're interested in began in 2015 when Shannon was getting married to her fiancé at the time named Travis. Shannon decided that she was going to film the entire wedding process from beginning to end. And she did just that because she has a wedding playlist on her channel and it's got 46 videos. And then the wedding itself, she split into 6 parts. She also had a daily wedding countdown vlog. Like, Shannon was really milking this boy. Now, at the wedding, Shannon obviously had her and Travis's family there, but she also invited some of her YouTube friends. Now, the ones we care about are Brie Ashley, Kristen Kate, Amber Walter, and Sarah Rush. Trisha Paytas was also around during all this, but she somehow avoided the drama. And I'm not really sure how. I think this might be the first time in Trisha's life where she saw drama and she's like, I'm not gonna get on the kitchen floor.
It's true.
Now, from what I can tell, these girls were kind of like the Vlog Squad meets Real Housewives. They were all friends on YouTube and they collabed and did videos together, but I don't think they actually hung out much in real life because all of them were from different states. So Shannon's wedding was going to be the first time where they all met up in person. The wedding took place at a beautiful mansion over multiple days. There is a 46 video long playlist if you really want to see everything that happened. You might want to bring some popcorn and Adderall or whatever keeps you going. But no, the wedding was really nice. They had a nice ceremony. They had an after party. They had ghost hunting. And then the next day, everyone goes home and Shannon and Travis drive off into the sunset to live happily ever after. From the outside looking in, the wedding seemed like a massive success. But days after the wedding took place, something strange begins to happen. Before we continue, today's video is sponsored by MyHeritage. Have you ever wanted to look into your past and discover where you came from? I did, and I used MyHeritage. With MyHeritage, you can start your family tree by entering just a few family members' names, birthdates, and then from there, MyHeritage will search through over 32 billion historical records to build your family's tree. They have this cool feature called Instant Discoveries that can instantaneously add to your family tree the second they find matches, so there's no waiting involved. I started with just a few of my relatives' names, and I ended up tracing my ancestry back over 200 years to when my ancestors immigrated from Belgium to the United States. I actually found the naturalization card from when one of them became U.S. citizens in 1923. I also discovered a yearbook from the 60s that showed my grandmother as a teenager. And then I discovered a great uncle I had who was mysteriously named Kingfish. Now, I have no idea if he was a fisherman or a mob boss, but MyHeritage found this photo of him, and they have a bunch of cool tools that can restore and colorize any old photos you have, so I brought Kingfish back to life. It was really fun to sit down with my family and watch all of these new records instantly appear as we added more and more of our family members. It felt like we were real-life detectives. If you want to discover your past like I did, you can click the link in the description for a 14-day free trial to MyHeritage and see what you can find. Now, this is where I need a quick disclaimer. My lawyer messaged me and he was very adamant that I add this, and when a guy in a suit tells me to do something, I like to submit. So this drama happened like a decade ago. Literally a decade ago. Not like a decade ago. It's 10 years old. So a lot of the original posts are gone. I tried my best to piece everything together by talking with the girls, going through old forums, and you know, honestly, it took a lot. But just keep in mind, not everything might be 100% accurate. This video is just for entertainment. Please don't sue me. Thank you. Days after the wedding ended, a few of the girls that I mentioned began making cryptic posts on social media. Most of these posts have since been deleted, but from what I've gathered, they were implying that someone they knew was being a snake. Brie Ashley supposedly had a post of a wolf in sheep's clothing and a caption that just said, "Spotted." Now, at this time, it was very unclear what these girls were talking about because they were all being cryptic, and no one would actually say what was going on. But this changed when Amber Walter, their close friend who they just had the wedding with, posted a video online uncontrollably sobbing.
I'm sitting here crying because I feel really sad, and I feel like somebody thinks that I did something that I didn't do, and I have no idea. I don't even know what it is.
In this video, Amber claimed that all of the girls were mad at her, but she had no clue as to why. She said after the wedding, she got back and she messaged all the girls and she was like, "Had a blast, can't wait to hang out again." But no one would respond to her. And then she saw all these tweets and she put two and two together and she was like, "Oh, they're mad at me." Now, the fans of these girls saw this video and they got really mad because it looked like all of the other girls were ganging up on Amber and they weren't really telling them why. So they started calling all of the other girls bullies and mean girls. In response to being called bullies, the other girls kind of just doubled down. Shannon Rose made a tweet and she said, "I just want to say publicly, I am no longer friends with Amber for so many reasons, all of which will come out soon. She knows this and ... Again, not really saying much. We're not really getting any info out of this. Then what happens next is that Bree, Sarah, and Kristen, they all post videos on their YouTube channel where they explain their reasonings for why they were no longer friends with Amber. Bree and Kristen have since deleted their channels, so I don't have that video, but I do have Sarah's.
Hi! Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
In Sarah's video, she basically lays out all the reasons why she is no longer friends with Amber. She says Amber was...
Look at these cozy shoes.
Amber was apparently talking behind her back, and I think the most
They're so
important
cozy
reason
and
was
comfy.
Amber didn't offer condolences.
After working in my boots all day and putting these on my feet, and it literally feels like I'm walking on a fucking mattress.
July 19th.
It really feels good. It's giving me like a sense of like true relief.
Via text, or she didn't call me or anything.
I love them.
I think she said something on Twitter. Now, Sarah's reasons for not being friends with Amber anymore were definitely valid, but there was definitely something more going on here. If you don't want to be someone's friend anymore, you don't have to make a video listing out all the reasons you don't want to be their friend. You could just block them. I have like 1,000 people blocked on Twitter. It's a great feature. It felt like the group of girls got together and they decided to kick out Amber for something. But then after they received backlash and were called bullies for kicking her out, they then needed to come up with reasons to justify kicking her out. So these videos were just them being like, we didn't kick her out for no reason. We actually have plenty of reason. I'm gonna list every mistake she's ever done for the past 10 years. This is Mean Girl 101. After these videos were posted, Amber once again makes another video sobbing uncontrollably.
I don't know what I did to deserve this.
And then again, this video caused the fans of these girls to accuse the other girls of bullying Amber because literally days prior to this happening, they were at a wedding that everyone saw. They were dancing together, they were laughing and partying, and now they come back to the wedding and apparently Amber's the Antichrist. Nothing happening here seemed to make sense. But this is when the bride of the wedding, Shannon, finally decides to come forward and clear the air.
Hey you guys, it's Shannon, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my wedding drama.
A few days after the other girls' videos, Shannon released her own video on the situation titled YouTube Wedding Drama. Now, if we're speaking in Mean Girl terms, Shannon would be Regina George. She had the largest channel, the most influence, and it seemed like she was the leader of the friend group and everyone was just following her. And in this video, Shannon comes forward and she backs up all the other girls in agreeing that Amber is a bad person.
A lot of people seem to think that we were bullying this person, and for some reason we were all just being super mean to this one girl for no reason at all.
Guys, stop calling us bullies. We're not bullies. Amber deserves it, okay? We're bullying someone that deserves to be bullied, so it means we're not bullies. Shannon, this doesn't help the Mean Girl appearance. But then Shannon gives us the real reason as to why Amber was exiled.
If you've been following this drama, in the back of one of her videos and in the thumbnail, they said it looked like what to be one of my wedding bouquets that I handmade. And if you guys watch my vlogs, you would know that it took me hours to make my wedding bouquet.
Apparently, while they were at the wedding, each of the bridesmaids had handmade bouquets that Shannon had made herself. And at the wedding, one of these bouquets had mysteriously gone missing. And then after the wedding, Amber released a Q&A video on her channel. And if you zoom into the background of this video, you can see the missing bouquet. So Amber stole the wedding bouquet from Shannon's wedding, and then it seems like she's gloating about it because she's putting it in the background of her video. Then, later in this video, Shannon teases some kind of bigger event that apparently took place at the wedding, but she isn't able to speak on it yet because it's some kind of legal matter.
I cannot speak about this matter as of right now. When I can, I promise you I will. Please just trust me when I say that what she did was so awful. Like, honestly, I don't know anyone that would do something like that to somebody.
And I just want to say, to Shannon's credit, she is a great noser. Wait. I mean, the way she's able to stretch out content and video ideas is actually impressive. This is a 30-minute video, and she essentially says two different things. Literally. Go watch it. She says two things. Now, this video goes viral, and it gets 1.7 million views, and it was received extremely well, and I think it's because Shannon was the bride at the wedding, and when someone is the bride of their own wedding, they kind of can't be in the wrong. The bride is always right. So all the people that were originally defending Amber changed their tunes when this video came out, but I have to say, in terms of today's standards, I think this video was very sus. I don't like to accuse people of fake crying because some people cry weird. Some people got weird crying face. And when your face is filled with Botox, you never know what's going on. Shannon could have a Game of Thrones ice wall blocking her tear duct. Botox, you don't know what's going on under the skin. But if I'm being honest, the crying in this video came off was very performative. There were no tears, there were 100 jump cuts, and she seemingly only wipes her left eye. When I was watching this video, I started keeping a tally on which eye she was wiping because it became so apparent that she was only wiping her left eye. This is how I spend my free time. I bet you guys are jealous. Anyways, after this video came out, all of the support for Amber had essentially gone away. All of her friends came out and disowned her. Even the bride is saying she's in the wrong. And now she's being accused of stealing. But after this video, the situation gets even weirder.
I want to start by saying I'm sorry. I am sorry from the bottom of my heart that my group of friends and me have put you guys through this.
In response to Shannon's video, Amber uploads a video titled "Fuck You." In this video, Amber claims that the entire sequence of events that we just went over was actually a social experiment to highlight the issues of bullying, and all of the girls were apparently in on it.
It was all an act. Every single thing was an act. This lie included 4 people. Shannon, Bree, Kristen, and myself.
According to Amber, while they were at the wedding, Shannon had come up with this grand master plan. She gave Amber the flowers to take, and then she planned to have all of the other girls attack her and be like, "We hate you. We're no longer friends with you." And then, after a few weeks, all of the girls were supposed to come out together and be like, "Surprise! It was all fake. We're not the bullies. The audience is the bullies because they jumped to conclusions. You guys should behave better. You're the bad ones." But apparently, the girls never came out and said it was fake, so they actually did betray Amber, and they framed her to look like an evil thief. She also tried to link all this to the presidential election, because I think this was right when Trump was being elected, and I tried really hard to see what the connection was, like how, I don't know how she was linking it.
And it's very prevalent to our younger generation, the people that are going to be voting, to show you guys that just because someone who is bigger and louder and has a bigger following or a group doesn't make them right, and you should not always believe them. Are you starting to get where this is going?
I tried. I don't know where the linkage came from. Now, this whole story was out there. It was a little kooky. But in my mind, I was like, this could have happened. Because since this drama began, all of the girls had a massive boost in their following. And this wouldn't be the first time that a creator has fake drama for views. It's actually quite common. Everyone's faking stuff. But then Shannon quickly makes a rebuttal video.
I just want to let you guys know, no, it is not true at all. This is just Amber, like, just lying even more to try to get herself out of, like, the things that she did that were really, really, really messed up.
Shannon completely refutes Amber's story about this being a planned stunt. She was like, "This bitch is crazy. I don't know what she's on. None of that is true. Literally, completely fabricated." And then Shannon actually provides video evidence that Amber did steal the flowers.
I mean, that's so obvious.
So slick. Did you see how quick she is?
Because they were at a wedding, they had film crew and cameramen all over, and one of these cameras actually captured the exact moment that Amber put the flowers into her bag, so she was caught red-handed. Now, the video Shannon showed was very short, and it had jump cuts in it because, like I said, it was just happened to be captured. No one was actually filming this, so it wasn't a super clear shot, but what was clear is that Amber did put the flowers into her bag, and there was no secret plan like she had claimed. In the rest of this video, Shannon again teases the big thing that Amber did.
There's a criminal investigation going on, and that's why I am not allowed to be talking about this. I'm sure you guys can understand that. I just want to put this to rest.
Shannon, stop milking. This video, once again, does extremely well, gets like 1 million views, and it puts another nail in Amber's coffin. The next update we get is when Amber uploads a video titled "Flowers."
This trip was awesome. I just want to thank Shannon again so much for, hey Buns, for inviting us, and we had a blast. And one of her bridesmaids actually gave me her bouquet.
And this video is apparently a clip from an unreleased vlog where Amber's outside and she's thanking one of Shannon's bridesmaids for giving her the flower. What is interesting about this video is that if you look at the timestamp of when the clip took place, it happened right after the wedding before she was actually ever called out for stealing, which if this timestamp was true, this would be super good evidence that Amber was innocent because she would have had to film this clip before ever being accused of stealing, which if she was like an evil mastermind, I guess she could have done that. But who would film an explanation for a crime they committed before they committed the crime? Listen, she could be an evil mastermind, the Antichrist. But I think this was actually some good evidence. But at this point, Amber had already been caught lying multiple times about where the flowers came from. So because she lied so much, no one really believed that this clip was real. And it was more likely that she just filmed it recently and then just added a fake timestamp. Now at this point, no one believed Amber. And she was being attacked ruthlessly by the fans. She was even given the nickname Scamber, which I thought was kind of clever. But yeah, this was rock bottom. And this is when things started to get scary. At this point, Amber's career is essentially over. It was 4 against 1, and there was overwhelming proof that Amber lied multiple times. Now, you would think in this situation, when someone loses a drama to this extent, they usually fade away from the internet and move on with their lives, kind of like how all my enemies have done. I'm not being petty. He wrote a book about wanting to hurt me. His grave will be on. No, I'm sorry. I think he does book reviews now or something. I'm happy for him. You would think this drama would end here, but instead, Amber begins uploading some very concerning videos.
I'm ready
video, she talks to an imaginary character that she calls Mother, and she roleplays as a mean girl. She was basically playing the character that everyone online thought she was. So since everyone thought she was a lying, evil, mean girl, she was playing that character.
Why? Because that's what I do. I'm just a mean, hard girl. That's what everybody says.
And I actually thought this was pretty funny because if you're at rock bottom and no one believes you, then I think you just gotta lean into it. Like, I have 3 siblings and I was the youngest sibling. So when I was growing up, everyone would blame everything on me. Like, my brother would eat all the Oreos, and then my mom would be like, who ate all the Oreos? And she'd say I did it. And I'd get so mad because I'd be like, I didn't eat the Oreos. But no one would believe me because I was the youngest sibling. So then you reach a point where you're like, okay, if you're gonna accuse me of the crime anyways, I might as well commit it. I'll eat all of them. 3 sleeves, baby. So I relate to this type of crash out. But the tone of the video switches when Amber decides to pull out a knife.
Say it to my face. That you can't. That you won't. Because you're a little bitch.
Amber then uploads another video, and in this video, she's dressed as the devil, and she was making like an evil potion in a cauldron.
Do you guys want to see how sweet a spell? Please keep watching.
And in the cauldron, she puts a pink flower that looks very similar to the ones that went missing. And she also puts a shirt that says Team Bride, which I'm pretty sure came from like a party game at Shannon Bridal Shower, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was very clear that this potion was made for Shannon. And again, it was just like a silly little video. She's at rock bottom. She's making a joke out of stuff. But then again, Amber decides to pull out a knife. Amber, you need to put the knife down. This is a little too far. It's getting a little scary. Now, this was the turning point when this went from a dumb internet drama between a group of girls to now people believe that Amber might actually be dangerous. Now, while all of this was happening on YouTube, the girls were also fighting on other platforms like on Twitter and Facebook. I believe Sarah kind of skedaddled at this point, but the rest of the girls, they were like an episode of Dance Moms.
Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! That was good.
And the reason I'm not showing all of this is because, like I said, a lot of this has been deleted. I don't think any of them have their Twitter account anymore. Shannon's account was like hacked and some random person owns it now or something. Like, all of this stuff is gone. So just keep in mind, while they were going back and forth on YouTube, they were also fighting elsewhere, and it wasn't pretty. The next update we get is over a month later when Amber uploads a new video titled Restraining Order.
So today I kind of have a pretty serious video. This is definitely not one that I'm looking forward to filming.
In this video, Amber seems to have returned to her normal self. She's no longer playing a character, and she put the knife down. If only Brittany could do the same. But in this video, Amber accuses Shannon of leaking her home address to the internet. But she didn't really give any proof for this, so I don't exactly know how she came to that conclusion. She basically said Shannon did it because Shannon had her address from the wedding, but that's not really proof of anything. Like, anyone can release your address. But also in this video, Amber lets us know that she has filed restraining orders on Shannon, Bree, Kristen, and Bree and Kristen's partners.
Defendant shall not attempt any form of communication to, with, or about the plaintiff. They will be punished federally. They can be imprisoned federally.
And then at the end of the video, Amber gets super emotional and she basically asks for all of this to stop.
I don't want to cry anymore about this. I've had enough. I don't want to waste any more of my energy on it because it is destroying my soul. It is hurting me so bad.
Now this is where I think the drama should have stopped, because at this point, this drama's gone on for months. Amber clearly lost, and now Amber was clearly...
Okay. It won't stick there now. Mm-hmm. Like a glue. Mm-hmm. All right. We're getting there. It looks like a clusterfuck, but we're gonna have real shelves soon enough. Oh, you're submitting to me. Is that right? Good girl. Ooh, you gonna lay an egg? Ooh, she wants the good stuff. She wants me to give it to her. She just submitted to me.
All getting restraining orders on each other, but they were also
That's
trying
hilarious.
to, like, getting orders off themselves. And when this happens, where a bunch of people are getting restraining orders on each other, it causes a legal back and forth, where a judge would sit down and look at all the evidence and decide if any of them were valid. So in this video, Amber Rhea Barber is heard, and the judge is going to decide what happens with all the witnesses. Now the judge in this case, I know you can see it.
Still the same build. I don't know who will carry this. Tired. I still have to go to work. I hurt my hand, good God. know how much more I got in me. There's a fucking rat. Literally right there in the grass. That is a mama bringing food to her babies. Fuck me, dude. Useless ass chickens.
And he was arrested, my guy. He was arrested for talking on a WhatsApp group by 6 police officers.
Now the were arrested my partner, Rosalind, Francesca, our 3-year-old daughter.
That's definitely not going to traumatize their 3-year-old daughter. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, my guys.
They bundled us into the police cars, took us off the custody of Stephen police station, where we remained for the next 12 hours. We arrested me on suspicion of harassment and malicious communication.
Suspicion of malicious communications. I'm not even, I can't even, like, I'm not even making this up. This is, man, this is crazy. Guys, what is going on? What happened to freedom of speech? There is no freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a joke. It's always been a joke. It's always been a joke, literally. We'll finish this little 1-minute video.
And it's to do with a dispute with our daughter's primary school, which began with posts on a WhatsApp. 5 days later, the police turned up.
Go
and we
home.
were finally interviewed.
So, you gotta realize, this was
The
in a
potty.
WhatsApp group. How did the police even know what they said in a WhatsApp group? Don't worry, guys.
The detectives, who'd had no previous involvement with the case, it turned out to not have any evidence of those alleged crimes.
Can I spill your water?
There's no evidence of what they said. They just knew that they said something, so they arrested him.
It was Kafka-esque. Eventually, we got a call from the detective in charge of the case. He said to Rosalind, "We're taking it no further. I have found no evidence to these offences."
So they arrested
Go
a
potty.
husband and a wife
Go
in
potty.
front of their 3-year-old daughter, locked them in jail
Go
overnight,
potty.
and said we have no
Go.
evidence
Go
that you were
potty.
mean in a group
Go
chat,
potty.
so we're
Go
letting
potty,
you go.
Lily. Go. Go. Go potty.
What? You call Trump fascist and you arrest these people for this?
and that was it. It was over. And even now, we still don't know what we're meant to have said
Go potty.
or done, which was so
Hello.
terrible or justified sending 6
over there.
police officers to our house.
Is that like actual insanity? Okay, so this literally just happened. This
You want to go in there? Okay, go ahead.
There was no.
Oh my God, he's such a funny dog, dude.
I literally, someone in my chat just said it was the Jews. All right, well, I hope you're being sarcastic because that's insane. It wasn't the Jews.
Look at this. Look where he is, where he wants to go. You want to go in there? Okay, come on. Come on. He wants to go in here. Okay. Silly dog, silly dog. So cute.
This is insanity. Oh my God. Yeah, sir, we're kicking your toddler out of school.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
Of another toddler. What is even happening? A transphobic toddler? That's retarded, bro. Oh my Lord. Holy shit. Obviously they're mega lefties there. Oh my God. You got arrested for causing anxiety. I have already made a video talking about how England is 100% cooked. So if you want to see my thoughts on England specifically, look at that. Today we're looking at a much bigger European problem. Because we're going to get back to England towards the end of this video because there was a pretty crazy situation that I feel like I wanted to talk about at more length there.
Yeah.
But more on this vein of, it turns out, Europe is a totalitarian fascist regime. People just don't know that yet because people in England can't say it. All right? The people in England can't talk about how it's a totalitarian fascist regime because if you offend a police officer with your Facebook post, you end up in prison. So, breaking news. Today marks the day democracy died in France. A judge ruled that Marine Le Pen is ineligible to run for president in 2027, even though she is the front runner. 8 MEPs from her party are also barred for participating in elections. Judges are now deciding elections across the EU. This is literally the front runner of the French right-wing party, literally getting arrested and unable to run in the next election, despite the fact that she literally is the front runner in the elections. Someone in my chat just said Le Pen is a rising figure in France. They'll make her more popular. It doesn't matter how popular she is if she's not allowed to run because some dumb fuck judge decides she couldn't run. Now, the allegations against her are that she did embezzlement, that she embezzled money. I am not here to say that she didn't embezzle money. In fact, I think that almost all politicians embezzle money. Unless proven otherwise, I expect them all to have embezzled money. But the fact that they are weaponizing the government specifically against right-wing people across all of Europe, when, let's be honest,
Hold up.
everyone fucking embezzles shit. Like, come on, dude. It definitely paints a picture, and it's a little bit more...
Hold on, I'll be right there. Let me rinse this off.
Definitely, possibly a little more of a coincidence. Again, not defending embezzlement. It's fucking awful if she did. It's just incredibly suspicious that they sentenced Le Pen to 4 years in prison, banning her for the 2027 elections when she was literally the front runner by a lot. Like, this is not even close. She was the front runner. Now, the thing is, this is called the illusion of choice. This is a fake democracy. They did to her what they tried to do to Trump. And it worked on her, it seems. Apparently, Macron, the actual current prime minister in France, apparently his friend also was caught in the same embezzlement sting. However, he was not charged. Only Le Pen was charged and 8 of her cronies.
Are you gonna go potty?
Specifically, suspiciously, right before she was winning an election. Again, this is not a coincidence, all right? It's not a coincidence.
Hey! Stop that shit! Pig, you're so mean. Orly, go potty. Come on, dude. You guys were just out. Orly, go potty. I guess you guys do the potty too. They just want a treat. Go on, get out of here. Peter, potato, get. No, do not eat that food. Get out of there.
He
I
kid.
think
Go
that's
potty.
This is what he had to say about Europe a month ago, and he's literally correct.
Germany's entire defense is subsidized by the American taxpayer. There are thousands upon thousands of American troops in Germany today. Do you think that the American taxpayer is going to stand for that if you get thrown in jail in Germany for posting a mean tweet?
Teeter, no pig, no dadle. No, do not eat that. Come on, in here. Right here, right here. Teeter, let's go. Good girls. You said good girls.
Based on shared values.
Yes, you
You
are.
do not have shared values if you're jailing people
I love
for saying
you.
we should close down our border. You don't have shared values if you
Okay,
cancel
Piggy.
elections because you don't like the result
Teeter.
in Romania.
Ladle.
You do not have shared values if you're so afraid of your own people that you silence them and shut them up. Germany's
So he was actually spitting straight facts here.
Orly, going potty?
Completely correct. Now,
Come on.
I think Europe is heading down a incredible path of self-destruction, and they don't have a lot of time. I'm not trying to be a fear-monger or anything. I'm really not. I don't believe in fear-mongering. Realistically, Europe has one generation to fix their shit, or they will forever be lost to history. Obviously, each country individually. It's not like all of Europe as a whole. But
I'm gonna crochet for a little while before bed.
because oh my god,
I need to go to work and I can't. There's just no way. I'm not gonna make it. I have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and go to work.
has one generation until they're cooked, like actually fucking cooked, literally cooked. This is Marine Le Pen winning her first round as France outright rejected Macron. You know, the guy who's married to his transgender father. This is why they're banning her from elections and why she's being sent to prison. These are people supporting Marine Le Pen. Very weird how that happened. Now, very interesting. I wanted to see the actual perspective of a journalist who specifically covers this shit, specifically like a European right-wing perspective on all of this, because the left-wing perspective is, well, she's a criminal. So I'm very excited to see all sides of this story, and I think it's important to be realistic here. Guys.
Oh, liberals. The only group of people to wear a mask inside of their cars, then to only take it off to attack a Tesla.
Chicken, you scared me. Orly, come on.
There is an angry mom. There's a lot of injustice. There's a lot of insanity, but we also have to understand
I got
there
treats.
are organizations, groups, and leaders of these
Dude, I can see you. Let's go.
that are directing them against the
Good
fellow
boy.
man and against individuals like Elon Musk. All of this, and of course we have some new updates surrounding the Luigi Mangione case, which I think are leading up to something that I've been warning about for a very long time. This whole entire case just smells like an entire psyop from the very beginning of it, as it looks like we might be having some copycat effects here already at play that truly is creating a very interesting scenario that
Oh, you can see him.
new form of BLM style types of protests, but now will be shifted around different
Aren't they
types
cute?
of character types and categories, specifically now race not being an issue, but being a CEO as one of those things, as it's really building up to exactly what I foreshadowed about. Now, let's go on and talk about Luigi Mangione here, a man that has captivated the corporate media as well as the minds of a lot of unhinged, crazy leftist liberals, and even some people that I know. As of now, federal prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Luigi Mangione.
That's because sometimes you need violence.
The Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, decided to directly intervene and direct federal
All right, guys, I'm gonna go take a shower and while there's still some daylight, and then I might crochet for a minute, but I'm gonna just do that privately, and then I'm gonna go to bed as early as I can get sleep. I'm gonna wake up early in the morning, and I'm gonna start cleaning the kitchen over at the other house. The owner of the house is coming over tomorrow to take a look. So
Obviously,
I want to
it's
get
pretty clear here.
things a little bit organized. I don't want that to reflect my work. You know what I mean?
Very serious. But
So
there's also a movement.
I'm gonna get up early
Also
and go do that.
There's also somehow supporters.
So I will see you guys in the morning.
This larger
I love you
array of
so much.
acts
Thank you
of
for joining me.
violence, as I think this is all a larger psyop to try to normalize it and set the stage for the next kind of resistance against Donald Trump, and to create more civil discourse inside of this country, creating this new form of divide and conquer agenda. Since, you know, the old one is kind of played out, doesn't really work, since we have a lot of stats and science showing that it's actually full of crap, as the race baiting that this country has been inundated to.
All right, guys. Love you.
Deal with for such a long time.